Hello, welcome to the Choose on Purpose podcast and video podcast. If you're watching this on the video, I'm joined with Kelly Fox, and we're going to be able to have a conversation today specifically around our theme for October is Celebrate Life. We've had a little discussion around the acronym of life, and today I want to talk about celebrate. And Kel, we have a lot to celebrate moving into this week. So super excited to have you to have a conversation and share some insights. But celebrate's a long acronym. So I'm going to dive in to talk about this. And I'll be watching the chat too. So Kel, if you want to put something in the chat, I'll be able to say that. And then feel free to raise your hand. Let me know that you want to chime in too and let your voice be heard. That's what this is all about. So looking at the topic, so in the community, Work on Purpose with Purpose, we'd celebrate every single hour that we're in. So whether it's 1 hour or 5 hours back to back in the day, we really get on a roll in how we celebrate the progress that we're making. And that's on purpose, because so much can be said about the way that we feel about the progress that we make or the things that we complete in our day-to-day life that can support how we continue to move forward. So the C for celebrate is to choose joy. Right? Intentionally being able to choose what we're going to celebrate and put emphasis on as being a good thing in our life can be such a subtle shift to choose the joyful moments in everyday life. Even when we're faced with challenges or adversities of any kind in our days, we find the moments of happiness that we can hold on to and really get to choose the joy in our life. So that's the C for celebrate. The E is embrace resilience. So for me, embrace resilience is all about celebrating the fact that we can choose how we're going to move through the challenging times, because we all have challenges, but the way that we think about them is the difference in how we move around in our day. And we get to recognize our own ability to bounce back and overcome these obstacles or challenges that we have. We made it through. See the joy, look for it, and we made it through. I love this, Cal. Okay, great. So that's the E, right? That's embracing resilience. The L, think about how we live gratefully. So I know that Kelly and I talk a lot about gratitudes and the power of being grateful, coming with a grateful heart into our days. And really that is about celebrating the abundance in our life that we have. And it's a practice because we have to be conscious of the fact that we are feeling grateful about this thing that's happening in our life. And it's outside of us, and being able to like recognize it. Right? Practicing the gratitude daily for the small and the big blessings that surround us on a regular basis. Yeah. Kel, do you want to just speak about what you're typing? That would be great for everyone to be able to hear you instead of me saying what you're saying. Would love for you to chime in. Yeah.
I said the world is for you. When you pay attention to the gratitudes, you see what is just showing up for you. You know, that you're when you pay attention to that, you see that the world is for you, the universe is for you, however you want to phrase that, instead of having the attitude of, you know, waiting for the other shoe to drop, or that you know, that bad things happen to you, or things like that. That the world is for you. It wants your success. It wants good things for you.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great reframe too. Thinking about how we're grateful for the things that come to us on purpose, like they're intentionally coming to us because we're putting out the energy of what we want and being grateful for receiving them. That's awesome. Okay, so the other E, there's a couple of E's. So I'm excited to see what everyone thinks about the acronym of celebrate. So the second E is empower others. And if you're new around these parts, we're all about empowerment. We're all about helping one another really take ownership of the way that we're living, the way that we're showing up. And that's why the podcast is called Choose on Purpose, because we hold so much power in the way that we can look at our lives and make choices of that behaviors and the actions that we move on, that we get to celebrate our ability to empower and support other people and giving them like permission, quote unquote permission, or just the inspiration to know that they can do it too, because we're leading by example. We're showing them that we're doing these things, and it empowers other people to, know that they can do it too, and be a source of strength and encouragement for other people around us to just take that autonomy for themselves too.
Yeah, I totally agree. I say, because I'm all about shining, because I'm a rock star, and as we shine, we give other people permission to shine. And so I love that you said that, like we walk forward so that others, know that they can walk forward, or that they can see the way to walk forward. And I think that is super important, that we turn around and we say, hey, come follow me, it's nice over here. So
Yeah. I love the the visual of the shining too, not the shining but the shine idea that you run with, Kel, because I know from my own experiences, like when I go to conferences and events and I see people doing their thing and like they are imperfect, I'm like, I could do that. Like there is moments that I literally think I could do that. Like this is just a human being. This is another person that has the same challenges, right? Like I kind of love when I go to speaking engagements and the speaker has like a quaky voice and I can totally tell that they're nervous and they're a human. Because it just really gives me the affirmation that like I can too do hard things, and the reminder that we're all beginners at some point. We're all working on these challenges that we come to, and that we can it's really empowering to see other people doing things scared. That it really gives me excitement. So.
Yeah, I know. Talking about this week and the exciting things we have going on this week, last year when I was at Celebration, sitting in the audience, watching the MCs, I was like, I can do that. And I thought that the year before too. And so this year I am the MC along with Terry, and we are going to do that. So, yeah. It shows that, we can go after those things, and I feel like the fact that I truly believed that we would do a good job and we would be really good at it is, probably what got us the position, because we were confident. It felt like a no-brainer for them to pick us. Though I have no idea who else applied. They probably were just as wonderful, I have no idea, but it was just like, of course they'll pick us. We're awesome.
Yeah. So. I love it. I love that. I love the true story about how you saw that play out for you too, because I think those things, I don't have a really great story yet to share about like how that happened. I can't think of one off the top of my head at least, but
I'm sure you do though.
We'll get to hear about it after this week and hear how it goes, because this will air actually like publicly after Celebration. So that's super exciting to get the beforehand. Okay, so moving along to the B is be present. And, first of all, this is a huge core value of this community, Work on Purpose with Purpose, because we're live in the Zoom room in our virtual community. We get to be present with each other, have a human connection and exchange, even when it's 10 minutes at a time. Like the power that can happen between a real connection and presence with one another is definitely something that we celebrate and that we know is huge in a world that we can feel very disconnected. Being in person in a room full of people and still being able to, there's a possibility of feeling disconnected. We're really strong about being present where we're at, whether it's virtual or in person, and celebrating life by being fully present in our moments. And, stay away from dwelling on the past and worrying about, worrying about the future, and really being present and embracing right now. It was kind of fun. Sister B in our community was talking about being present in the moment, and it came out the one day, it was like, oh, because we had a couple different time zones on the call. It was like Jamie's in Eastern time, we're in Central time, and it was like, and I think Cal, I think you were on the call too. It was like Pacific time, so it was like here o'clock came out, and we just started owning the here o'clock, and we were still owning that. So being present wherever we are, whatever time zone you're in, whatever phase, or challenges you have going on, but really being present with that moment is a big conversation that we love to have. So Cal, do you want to say anything about presence?
Yeah, well, being present is a step with Fearless Generations as well, present moment. And so, we can learn from the past and we can plan for the future, but life happens in the present moment. And change happens in the present moment. It doesn't happen in the past or the future. It happens in the present moment. So, each thing that we choose right now and intentionally, hopefully, right? Intentionally choose right now decides what the future holds. And also dictates what the past will be, right? So right now is when it all happens. And so if we're somewhere else while it's happening, then we're not being intentional. And, life is happening to us instead of us, living our lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Instantly when you were saying about the past and the present and the future too, I actually have a saying on my foot. I don't know if you know this, Kelly, but one of my tattoos on my right foot, on the side of my foot, says, learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. I think I was 19 when I got that on my foot. Like, it's so funny. And even saying, like, thinking about hindsight, right? Like when we look back on things and we give them meaning, they hold, they hold a memory for us because we give things meaning. Thinking back, like when I was 19, I don't know why. I honestly don't know where this quote came from, how it came in my existence, and why it now exists on my foot. Other than it's truly how I love to live my life. I learned so much from thinking about what did I take from the, yesterday that I want to intentionally bring forward. How can I still be present in today and make a change that makes a difference tomorrow still? So it's always kind of fun to just kind of see how my tattoos still really make sense, even when I'm like, I don't know. I was 19.
Yeah.
How much wisdom I had in me at that time still.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, there's so many times where, I have this idea, right? This idea comes to me and I'm like, oh, this is such a good idea. And then I'll look back on something I did, 5 years ago, and I had the same idea then, right? But, maybe I act on it, maybe I didn't. And then it came back around and I had it again. And so now it's another opportunity to do something with it. And, sometimes we get ideas or epiphanies or ahas and we don't do anything with them. But they tend to come back around and give us that opportunity again, so when we're living in that present moment, they'll most likely stick with us, right? Because, maybe the 5 years previously, I wasn't necessarily living, in the present moment on a regular basis. And so that thought came and went. But when it came back around, I was ready for it. And I took it forward. So it's, being present for those things as well. And, if you're a person that, that it comes in and it goes out, write it down. And, so that it can stay with you as you go forward.
This is so good. I literally have my neighbor is one of my walking buddies and my accountability partners. And we were just having this discussion this morning at 5:30 in the morning about ideas when they come, and now it came back, and now is the time that it makes the most sense, right? And that I am equipped to take action on the things. And it's another conversation we've been having all morning in our Think and Grow Rich for Women book study was, being able to know that sometimes it takes multiple times hearing things in order to really let them sink in or be felt, and then be able to take an action towards it, or mold it into something, or even pay attention to it, even have the awareness that it's something for you to remember. But we work on trusting that it'll come back when it's meant to, and if it's for you, then it's for you, and you'll receive the message. So yeah, always a great reminder. I love that. Okay, so that's being present. The R is radiate positivity. And I don't know if you can hear it in our voice or see it in our face, but we definitely radiate positivity. And, I really like to look at positivity and more of like an optimism too, because right, like celebrating by radiating the positivity is about being kind, but also I'm always staying away from being unauthentic, I'll just say, right? Like staying away from being unauthentic and staying true to who we are, and being able to spread love and compassion and that goodwill to uplift others, and spread that kind of positivity, versus masking something and hiding something else that we're truly feeling. But really the intention behind it is to spread love and to be love and give good things to the world around us, is what I'm saying about radiating that positivity.
Yeah, I love that. And I think also there are moments where we might be a little down, and we can come to an environment or to a person who is, who can fill us back up. And I think that's what this community is for. There's a lot of times that I jump into our action hours. I have no idea what I'm going to do, but I want that 10 minutes of connection, that 10 minutes of positivity, that 10 minutes of, being with people who, give me faith in myself and in the possibilities again. And so I think that, and sometimes that's me for the community. Somebody else comes in and I'm that for them. Right. And so it's a, what's the reciprocity, in the community of, being there for each other, being open to giving and receiving. And because there are those moments where you're down and it's inauthentic to show up and act all happy, or to suppress the feelings of, of concern or sadness. Right. We don't want to suppress our feelings and act like everything is great when it's not. Right. But we can still, in those moments of challenge, we can still be, we can still have joy. We can still be positive. We can have hope, that, or faith that things are going to get better, because they usually do. And put ourselves in environments where the energy in that environment is going to help our energy come back up.
Yeah. One of the ways that we described the community before was energy enhancers, that it is really, and maybe that isn't, being positive all the time. So I love, talking about the dynamic of how it can be both and for different people. Someone could be coming in and sharing just total elation about something, and someone else can be coming in and sharing like disaster, devastation, and just really wanting to be held in that too. And there's a duality that happens when we're in a community space to allow it all to be real and allow it all to be authentic to what each of us is experiencing. Because everyone that's in here right now is in a different state, right? Like mentally, physically in a different state. Like we're all doing our own thing and living our own lives. So having an authentic space to be able to show up and be held in whatever we're feeling is a gift to me. And to hear that that's a gift for other people is probably the greatest gift that I have with having the community for myself. So yeah, I love that. And no, the A is not authenticity, but it's close. It's close. It's accept imperfection. So celebrate, right? Celebrate those imperfections and the imperfections of our life and who we are. I truly believe that we're perfectly imperfect beings, and that makes us unique and beautiful in a lot of different ways, because you know, we have challenges and we get learnings. We're gonna go with that. We get learnings, and we teach each other by the way that we show up and being the example, like we talked about earlier, and just really, again, getting to show others too, and ourselves, right? It is really about like showing ourselves that we can do things that we maybe yesterday didn't believe were possible for ourselves. And maybe today we woke up with a little extra chipper and an extra support person to say, yeah, you can go on, you can do that. And I see that for you, and being able to accept that it may be imperfect, and that's okay. But, accepting the fact that we can celebrate the progress of the things, and give ourselves some praise for taking that step.
Yeah. And I think it all is in the definition of what perfect is. I think all of us have a different definition of perfection. And I think that we have this skewed view of what perfect means. Because I feel like even if like the whole Pinterest nailed it concept, where they try to do something on Pinterest and it looks awful or whatever, who's to say that that's not perfect, right? Even though it doesn't look the same. So it's it's that concept of expectations, and the expectations we have of ourselves and others and things and situations and all that kind of stuff. Because something doesn't turn out the way that we pictured, all of a sudden it's not perfect. So I think that it's allowing a different definition, a more expansive definition of perfection to be accepted. But also, I think that sometimes our things that we think are wrong with us are actually like our superpowers, and and are things that are needed, for someone else's growth, for our own growth, to affect the world at large in some positive way, because you have that thing about you. Like when I was younger, I was always made fun of because I was told I was too sensitive, blah, blah, blah. But, now that I'm older, I can see that my sensitivity, my ability to feel the energy in the room, my ability to sense what's going on with someone else and what they might need is a superpower, right? And so what I was made fun of when I was younger, I can now see is something that is positive, right? So I think that all of that, accepting of ourselves, accepting of our quirks or our imperfections, if you want to call them that, is part of it as well. And I think that a lot of us get stuck or held back or kept small because we are trying to attain this concept of perfection. When if we would just go out and do or say or be what we're wanting to do, it would actually give us what we want, and it would support everyone around us.
Yeah, and it takes us one step closer. Like even not, me thinking away from the perfection thing, because I'm someone that if you give me a scale of 1 to 10, I will never say 10. Because I don't believe in the perfection of like being a 10. Like the scaling is really challenging for me because I just don't think about it in that way of like a 10. Like that's what it is. That's the attainment. I'm always like looking for growth and opportunity, and not in a way of beating myself up, but being able to know, like, I don't believe there is like this peak of, the thing. So I
But
love
what
that.
if you give it your all and your all is a 10? And it doesn't have to be more than that, right? It doesn't have to be over what your all is,
Right.
and your all might be different every day. It might be different from 1 hour to the next. But when you're giving it your all, that's a 10,
Yeah, that's a good
instead of
way to-
comparing it to somebody else's 10 or
Yeah.
your concept of 10.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it. I like that, framing it with the all. I like that. Okay, the T is take action. You knew we'd get there, right? We can't have all of these beautiful things without some action. And take action is to, move towards those goals and those dreams and take a small step, because that's worth acknowledging and celebrating, which is what we keep talking about. We're really pointing that out, taking a progress step. And whether it's a seemingly wrong step in someone's mind, or it didn't work out. Like, I love, Kel, that you even said not as I pictured it, because photography background, I love thinking about how I want to picture things. It's like, not exactly it, but this is probably better. And being able to just take a step towards it to really be able to celebrate that there's progress being made. Because if we stand here and we talk about it and we talk about it, well, it probably already would have changed if we would have took a step towards it to just get another view and a perspective that isn't from where we were already standing, because it's changed due to the baby step that we've already taken.
Yeah. And I think it's really important that we celebrate each action, regardless of how big it is. And I think a lot of the times we have this criteria on what the action has to be able to celebrate it. But really, we can celebrate a shift in thought. We can celebrate, a tiny little action. And as we do that, we build momentum, but we also build confidence and our ability to take action. And it's in taking action that confidence is built. It doesn't come beforehand.
Yeah, that's great. Even the example of a small shift that could actually make all the world difference is our words, right? We talk about shifting our vocabulary a lot in this community, and it actually happened right before we got on here, talking about shifting from, if this desire or this thing that I want, would come about. And we're talking about, like, let's shift it to when we are in this state of what we say we want, then this thing is happening, da 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 da. And that's because we're choosing the actions that we're going to show up and take, and the places that we're going to be. And we're taking responsibility for how we're going to move forward and take an action step, in saying, in our verbiage being such a simple shift that can make all the world difference, because it's signaling something else to our subconscious and our body to move in a direction that makes is in alignment with what we're saying that we want in our life. So word shift is a small thing that makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And should came up as well before we got on the call.
Yes.
And how we shifted it to could, I can, so then it's a choice. It's not, oh, I should. It's like something I have to do. It's something I'm choosing to do.
Yeah.
Like I used to say, I have to go pick up my kids from school. No, I'm choosing to go pick up my kids from school. I could leave them there. Right? I could leave them there. I would get in trouble. I could get in trouble for it, but I could, right? Like I choose to pick them up because of the mom I choose to be, or, the responsibilities I choose to have, right? So when you shift the word from should to could, or choose to, it really shifts the energy around it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it really gives you that autonomy and that responsibility to know that you have control over those things, right? Someone's not telling you have to go do them, but that we rightfully are really choosing so much in our life that we can, choose differently if we really want that.
Yeah. I could choose to ask somebody else to pick them up.
That's right. Yeah.
That's or yeah, or what you said earlier, have them walk. My kids actually do walk home from school, but that's because we live really close.
Yeah.
And I actually do have a daughter that we drop off and pick up because her school's farther away,
Yeah.
but I have another daughter that goes to college, and sometimes I can't take her to school and she rides the bus. So there are always options when you're thinking it only has to be one way, or there's only one way to do something. That's fear. When we're in freedom, there are more than one possibility to do anything.
Yeah. It's very limiting. Like that was the word that instantly came to me. Like it's very limiting. And right, that thinks about like being trapped or confined. And like those are all things that definitely relate to fear. Like if I'm putting myself in a visual of fear, it's like contained and like in a box, or we like to think outside the box. So yeah, I love that. Take those actions, celebrate them. Every choice is something to celebrate. Okay, so the E is enjoy the journey. Right? We're talking about all of these things coming together. And the big part of that is, making sure, the very first one was to choose joy, right? So choosing joy, embrace resilience, live gratefully, empower others, be present, radiate positivity, accept imperfection, take action, and enjoy the journey. So celebrating the journey of life, it's not about the destination, as I was kind of talking about with the scale a little bit earlier, but like thinking about the experiences and the lessons and the memories that we're choosing to create along the way of the challenges that we have and the awarenesses that come to us, and being able to enjoy them. And I kind of always joke, because my photography background is like, capture the moment, take a picture of it, document it in a way that feels good for you. Even if you never look at it again right now, maybe someday it'll be something that you can really look back and find the joy through the journey of that really challenging time, or that moment that you felt maybe really defeated. And like, can I continue this dream? Is this something that's going to define how I move forward in my business? And really getting to, capture and create that moment of you then getting to pivot and make a choice that's more empowering for you to decide how you want your story to be told. And it's a choice point again. So remembering that celebrating life is about recognizing the beauty in each of those moments, even in the challenging ones, and being able to choose to show up with optimism, right? With resilience, knowing that you can do hard things. You've done challenging things in the past, you can do them again, and really being grateful for the moments that, you have support, that you recognize the learning that you've received, and being able to really, celebrate your progress, in how you're living your life intentionally right now. So,
yeah. And being willing to receive support, because I think a lot of people who are naturally in the role of being the supporter, that they find it difficult to be the one to receive support. And I know sometimes I can get stuck in that, like, I'm the coach, I'm the one that supports you, not the other way around. But I need support too. And so maybe I don't go to my clients for support, but I can go to other people, right? There's always someone who is is there. In my world, I have set it up that there is always someone that I can contact. I have a huge fear buster team, is what we call them, or a support team, or a tribe. And it's very intentionally that way, right? So,
yeah,
be intentional and create that support team, create that tribe. If it's small, make it bigger.
Open the circle, open it up, bring them in.
Yeah.
I love that too, because Jamie and I were talking earlier about coaches needing coaches. Like, we all need support. We all need to be able to have a team of some kind, even if it's one person, but knowing that there is support for you and having that encouragement is a big piece of being able to remember, that you're doing things that you can celebrate. You're taking action, you're making choices. And no is a complete sentence. So even if it's saying no to things and walking away from something, like that's a choice that we make, that can also be celebrated when it's in alignment, like full on celebrate the fact that you made that choice because it's for you. So
yeah. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And every time you say no to something, you're saying yes to something else. So saying no to someone is saying yes to you. Right? And sometimes saying yes to somebody is saying no to you. And so, finding those situations where it's a yes, and it's a yes for them, it's a yes for you, and you both benefit from the situation. Those are the best kind of decisions.
I love that. A yes. That's great. We're gonna wrap up on that, because a yes is the energy exchange, right? Think about the energy exchange of giving and receiving, and it really being life-giving to both people or parties that are happening, and being able to celebrate those kinds of exchanges is really powerful, and it puts not only you, but like the people also that are, affected by the ripple, that it also gives them that energy too. So I love that. So we're going to wrap it up by, Cal, thanks for joining us to share your insights around how we're celebrating life right now, and the choices that we are currently choosing, and that we get to show up for how we want to move from here. So would love to know, what part of celebrate really resonated with you guys, and if there is any insights you want to share, be sure to comment, let us know, reach out, like, follow, subscribe to the Choose on Purpose podcast. And Cal, I'll add in your podcast in the show notes, since we referenced Fearless Generations in there as well, to go check that out. And I'm Becky Plouts, and this is the Choose on Purpose podcast. We will see you next time.